What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Next Gen 720, and I am back with another video. If you haven't checked out the last episode of Xbox Beast Fire, please do so. I'll leave the link down below. Great show as always. Also, too, swing by and check out the Big Gamer Small Talk podcast. We had one of the Microsoft execs in the comment section going back and forth with the Xbox fans or just the gaming community, period. Shout out to Mikey Barrow. Great BGSC was a great show this Sunday. And also swing by the BGST podcast.com. That's the website. Join the forums. Interact with us. Interact with other Xbox or even just gamers. It's not just a Xbox for all gamers. Interact with the more or less gamers. Have fun and check out some of the merchandise. Shout out to my bro Jay Williams. Now, Sony was how should I say? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Um, some Sony, I guess, quote unquote, extremists have came up with this rumor that Sony was working on a beefier version of the PlayStation 4 Neo to compete with the Xbox Scorpio. And I just want to set the record straight here because I see a lot of you guys, how you say, quote unquote, spreading misinformation in the comment section. The Xbox One S is not the PlayStation 4 Neo's competition. The Xbox One S is still the vanilla PlayStation 4 competition. The Xbox One S is the same exact console, just in a smaller casing with some 4K, you know, capabilities. Now with the Xbox One S, you can stream 4K content to your Xbox One because it's HDMI 2.0. Now original Xbox One, yes, you can stream 4K content on it, but Netflix, Hulu, whoever, these guys wanted HDMI 2.0 to protect their content. They now have these devices where you can stream stuff off Netflix and record it. So Netflix and all those guys, they wanted the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One to enable HDMI 2.0. There was an article that came out in 2014 from the vice president of Netflix and said that both Microsoft and Sony, back then I did a video on it, were releasing new consoles to be able to take advantage of the quote unquote this 4K craze booming within the industry. So anyway, you've been having these Sony fans, extremists, coming out and saying that now the PlayStation 4 need to become the Nuvo, whatever you call it, is indeed going to be 5.5 teraflops instead of the 4.1 or 4.2 from the initial internal documents that got leaked that I read myself. Um, Basically, the GPU was twice as powerful. They got a slightly higher memory bandwidth with the same 8 gigs of GDDR5 RAM, and the only thing they were thinking about tweaking is the CPU. Okay, even if you put a beefier CPU in there, you're not going to get over a 1.5 teraflop in performance, not from a CPU. It's not going to happen. But like I said, you had a lot of Sony fans spreading a lot of misinformation. But like I said, sometimes where there's smoke, there is fire. Sony is working on two new hardwares. They are putting out a PlayStation 4 Slim to compete with the Xbox One S. And then with this Slim, it's going to have some 4K capabilities. You're going to be able to stream 4K, just like the Xbox One. I don't know about HDR. They didn't mention that. They didn't. I don't. They said I don't know about it. Most likely, they probably will also be able to do HDR. But initially, Sony said that they weren't going to do a Slim. It was too much money, and they were just going to give people a true upgrade. Now Sony has gone back on their word, but it says here, I read it here for yourself. It says PlayStation 4 Slim to be released in addition to the PlayStation 4 Neo report. Sony analysts mentioned a PS4 Slim in the pipeline separate to the already confirmed PlayStation 4 Neo. Sony will release a PlayStation 4 Slim in addition to the previous announced PlayStation Neo, according to a tweet by a reporter from the Wall Street Journal. Now, we're talking about the Wall Street Journal. We're not talking about Game Per. We're not talking about any of those NeoGAF. This is from a very reputable site. We're talking about the Wall Street Journal. And I told you guys then when I was saying that these new consoles were coming out, and I said when you got sites such as the Wall Street Journal report on it. It's fact. So again, here you go with the Wall Street Journal. It says here, the slim addition to Sony's flagship consoles reportedly due to service by the time the Tokyo Game Show rolls around, which is in September. So it looks like Sony's going to be showing the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Neo at the Tokyo Game Show, just like Microsoft showed the Xbox One S at E3 and talked about the Scorpio. Like Sony's going to do the same thing at the Tokyo Game Show. But it says, rolls around. Now, note that the analysts have said that this addition to the Neo, so it's not simply another name for the upcoming PS4 revamp. Let me scroll down a little further right here. The PS4 Neo is real, but we're still no closer to finding out the release date. Sony announced the PlayStation 4 Neo at the months of rumor the weeks before E3, although the console itself wasn't shown off at the Los Angeles event. However, it's expected we'll get our first look at the new hardware at Tokyo Game Show. Speaking to The Guardian, Andrew House, CEO, president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, said that the Neo is not designed to replace the existing PlayStation 4, and that gamers can expect titles to run with an increased visual fidelity, high graphics fidelity. Okay, now check this out. So in addition to quote unquote the PlayStation 4 Neo, Sony's also coming out with a Slim. How do I feel about this? I don't know. I don't know. I know that right now the Xbox One X is selling extremely well. Microsoft is happy with it. Different retail benches are happy about it. Actually, I was going to do a video about it because the Xbox One sales are up all across the board. Now, is this a last minute thing about Sony? That I don't know. When I asked the question, it was told to me that both Microsoft and Sony were coming out with new hardware. And I said, what are you talking about, Slims? He said to me, certain individual, Slims are not new hardware. You know what I mean? And that's why I was so telling you guys to know Microsoft is not just doing it slim. They come with a beefier said console. I was telling you again, no one believed me, but that's neither here or there. Now, this same individual, I haven't spoken to him in a minute. But I don't know. Now, Sony has the VR, which is coming out this said holiday season. You have the PlayStation 4 Neo, which is coming out this holiday season. And you have the PS4 Slim that's coming out this holiday season. Now, the PS4 Slim is going to most likely phase out the current model of the PlayStation 4. And the Neo is going to be targeted at the hardcore. The guys that got to have the best the best graphics, the highest resolution. Games are going to look great on this quote-unquote PlayStation 4 Neo. Now, I told you guys before, and I did a video about this Sunday, doesn't make any sense for Sony. Not even make any sense. This is a business. Sony putting out two versions of the PlayStation 4 Neo. Like, that's, now, if anything, that's confusion. You have the PS4 Slim, and you have two versions of the Neo. You're talking about three brand new pieces of hardware. Like the R&D to do this is because, like I said, in the end of the day, when Microsoft specs got announced for the Xbox Scorpio, and you got some of you weirdos saying Microsoft tipped their hands too early. Now Sony can counter that. How the fuck can you listen? Business doesn't work like that. Before Sony, Microsoft, if anybody makes these consoles, they do the R&D, the research and development, to make sure the console doesn't overheat, make sure it doesn't catch fire. Make sure it takes about 2 years. We're talking about a lot of money that's spent on R&D, and plus they sign contracts with companies like AMD and all X, Y, and Z to manufacture whatever chips that are going to go inside the box. So when they say, when E3 came, Microsoft talked about the 6 teraflops. Sony said they scrapped that. Nah, we don't want those. We don't want those 5 million chips we just ordered. Throw those away. It doesn't work like that. Prime example: when it came out that the PS4 was going to be more powerful than the Xbox One at E3. If that's the case, Microsoft could have changed their specs. Only thing Sony can do is slightly overclock probably the CPU and the GPU, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like I said, we are talking about still a console, a closed environment, and that's a lot of heat. Again, but like I said, they are coming out with a Slim. Now, how do you guys feel about that? Now, I wonder what the Slim is going to cost. It's still going to be like $300, $350. I told you guys here first on my channel that the Xbox one we have now was dropping down to $279 with a $50 million rebate. You know what I mean? I gave you guys that gem. Some of you guys said I was blowing smoke out my ass, and I told you guys this a week before E3 even came out that Microsoft was dropping the quote unquote the Xbox One at $279, and it is what it is. But how do you guys feel about this? If you're on the fence thinking about getting the PlayStation 4, are you going to buy the PlayStation 4 Slim, or are you going to wait for the PS4 Neo? You know what I mean? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Uh, it is what it is. So, like I said, Sony is working on two consoles. So, but it's not what you think. You're going to get the Neo, and you're going to get a Slim. This is your boy Next Gen 720 in my ear. Bang, bang.